Hi, how are you? This is your bar class that you're missing this week, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then this is a bar class. It's also yoga infused, like everything else I do. So let's start with the breath. We'll start standing though, okay? Feet about hip width apart. Be kind of more concerned that the knees and the tops of the ankles and your middle toes are in line. So if you're like me and your knees sort of internally rotate naturally, I'll sometimes stand with my feet slightly turned in. Okay, so only you know what you need. And I'm just going to go a little bit back and forth and just start breathing. So let's use the breath as a vehicle for moving the body from the inside out. I'm not going to be too forceful with it, but if you choose to use it in a more forceful way as we get moving, you can. All right, find a nice comfortable spot, lift and spread the toes, feel the big toe mound, and then the little toe mound, which is a little harder for a lot of people to get, and then the whole heel, and then let the toes relax. You can put your hand on your belly and one on your heart. Keep your eyes closed or gaze softly down the tip of your nose. And just be aware if there's any posture tendencies, like locking your kneecaps and sort of drawing them backwards, have a little softness in the knees. Feel a gentle drawing in, not too tight, not just yet, but just a gentle drawing in of the shins, and then the inner thighs, maybe up the body, and even feel a little bit in the outer hips as well. Keep the low belly relaxed. There's no need for you to have to suck in your belly. It's okay. When you breathe, breathe down the body. Let everything expand like a 360-degree experience. That's down here too. You expand that way, you expand out, you expand in the back and the front, diagonally. Right? So keep everything just going out. Yes, your belly will stick out a little bit, but we're not looking for the Buddha pooch with the pelvis tipping forward. Just think about the breath going out the ribs, out the sides of the pelvis, behind the waistline, down, pushing gently down. Not like you're going to the bathroom down, just gentle opening up of the abdominal cavity. And on your next exhale, feel a slight lifting of the, you can even use your toes if you want, because that's going to invigorate the long line of tissue that's eventually coming up to here, right? So maybe just for here, inhale, press down, ground into the earth. Exhale, lift the toes, inner thighs, thighs into the body. Start squeezing a little bit up and in the pelvic floor, just up more than in, and then keep lifting. I'll show you. Up, in, and then a little lifting all the way up to below the ribs, and then out the throat again. Let's do this with the arms. Inhale, ground down, let the tailbone point down, and then exhale, drawing everything up and in. Tailbone still stays pointing down, but the muscles in front of the tailbone and maybe surrounding the tailbone might engage a little bit. Let's inhale to chair, seat behind the ankles. Exhale to Tadasana. Inhale, knees behind the toes. Fill up your belly. Exhale, squeeze and lift through the front low belly. Keep that going a few times. Maybe the arms do something entirely different, or maybe they don't move at all. Remember, the inhale is as much in the back of the body and the sides as it is in the front. Feel an openness and a space when you inhale below the navel. And if you can't quite access any of the muscles below the navel, that's okay. Just let go, release. Don't get too worked up about it, because that creates the tension that's probably holding you back a bit. All right, now from here, inhale. Exhale, draw the left knee into the chest. Inhale back to chair. Exhale, right knee into the chest. Inhale. Exhale, so you're marching essentially. Inhale, exhale, right knee. Good. All right, let's lift the left foot. Let's peel it off the floor. We're going to stay here for a while, so you may want your toes down, or you may want to lift. Have your knee, standing knee, a little soft, and then find where your pelvis is in space. Go ahead and use your hands. See if you can draw the left hip crease into the body a little bit more. And then when you inhale, be aware of the glutes taking over too much. Release a little space, release the tailbone down and slightly back. And then when you exhale, lift up through the front so the back of your body can get some release. Inhale one more time. Exhale, take it down. You can fold forward if you want to and relax right here. Otherwise, we'll hold a chair for 5 breaths. I like to bring my toes and my knees in for chair, but you're welcome to do a wider stance for balance or any reason that feels good to you. Continue to breathe. Feel how the inner body gets pulsed with the breath. I might move around a little bit more than you want to, just so you get a little visual, so don't worry if you're not quite moving in the way I am. All right, whether you're folding or not, come back to chair. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, start to peel the right heel off the floor like a sticker. Keep the toes down or continue the ascent. As you inhale, feel that right hip crease drop down and into the body. And stay here and just breathe. Try to keep that left knee from popping in front of your toes. Sit the tail down and slightly back, but let the sit bones draw underneath you. If you can't separate those 2 points, again, don't overthink it. Just inhale space. Good. Exhale, take it down. Now we all fold together. Bend those knees generously. Those hamstrings, they just did some work for you, so they're not really ready to stretch 100%. They might still be holding on to that tension of balancing you. So wave side to side, little seaweed ragdoll here, maybe opposite elbows. Keep your knees bent generously, but stay mindful that both sides of your feet are working for balance. And then put more weight into the balls of the big toe and the little toe if you can. Maybe take the hands down if that makes you feel unsafe. And take your hands to the ground, fingers spread, and then step your left leg back. Now if you weren't at the front of your mat, you'll have to step the right foot forward or just organize yourself. All right, so from here, again, I'm a big fan of blocks. I'm going to take one of the blocks behind my knee, and I'm just going to test it for a moment. And this is your choice. You don't have to use the block, and the block can be high, low, or totally non-existent. So when you inhale, press into the ground with your feet and draw the heart forward. When you exhale, bend the back legs, scissor your legs together, draw the hip creases into the body, and start to stack your vertebrae, drawing in Mula Bandha. Inhale. Your choice, you can just go with a tiny little bend in the knee here and an almost straight leg in the back. Be careful of locking it out. It may tip the pelvis too far forward and crank the low back. Or you can inhale, and then when you exhale, let the knee drop down to that block. And it should drop down, not back or forward. Inhale. And exhale. If you want to straighten your arms at the top, you can. I know better than to do that with my arms. My shoulders are a little tweaky, but of course you can. On your next exhale, take the knee down, no matter where it wants to go. Cross your left hand over to the right. Now notice that the right hip sort of juts forward when you do that. So take your thumb in your right hip crease. As you inhale, let the hip crease settle back and down, sort of wrap it around. And then as you exhale, lifting from the left side ribs, the front of your pelvis to the right side ribs. Give yourself open collarbones. So you may not twist as far as this, but at least you're open here. Things are spreading apart. Good. On your next exhale, taking your hands down. And then turning over to the left so your toes point out. So before we do the other side, let's do little ninja lunges here. You don't have to go that low. I've got a lot of popping and cracking going on. That's normal for me. If that's not normal for you, I would back off and not to do them. So turning your toes out, your heels in. Make sure your knees and toes track. If you can remember nothing else, knees and toes should track in the same direction, at least when you're supporting yourself. There may be exceptions, but just work with that premise. All right, as you inhale, let the tailbone drop, but let the low back be flat. So if you're like, well, tailbone drop, does that mean this? Not really. It means drop, like there's a weight attached to it. Right? So that you may need the block. Good. So as you inhale, just open the heart forward. And then as you exhale, start to sweep up the front low spine. Head comes up, and then breathe in at the top here. Take your hands to your hips. You don't have to be as low as me. Remember, I do this a lot. So just go side to side. And then take that block if you can. Squeeze it like you mean it in between your forearms. So as you inhale, sink the tailbone, press into the outer edges of your feet. And then exhale, lift the low belly. Your choice if you want to use the inhale to sink and the exhale to do a light lifting, or if you'd rather sort of stay in one place the whole time, working on your breath. Squeeze the block like you mean it. 3 more breaths here. Keep the shoulders low. Maybe even draw them back so the block comes a bit closer to you. On your next exhale, draw the low belly up and in, so squeeze Mula Bandha just a bit, and then breathe. Drop that block like a boss. And then take your seaweed, wide-legged forward bend here. You can turn to the back edge of your mat to do your left side lunge, if you don't mind facing away. Otherwise, for the sake of, if you're looking at the screen here, just come to the front of your mat. So make sure your knee comes down. You have your left leg lunge now. So as you inhale, you can even keep your knee down here if you want. I'll do that. Inhale, press your knee if you're using it, back foot, front heel especially. And then as you exhale, start to squeeze the hip creases towards one another. Lift through Mula Bandha, inhale. And again, you can come along for the ride, maybe dropping the knee. Inhale. Maybe the back leg straightens a little bit or a lot. As your arms lift, you may not want your shoulders to be high up in your ears. Just remember that your arms are, your shoulders are going to go up a little bit. So don't try and draw your arms up and then shove your shoulder blades down your back. I like to keep my arms wide. It feels good for me. All right, one more. And then exhale, take it down. All right, cross the right arm over. Now notice, this isn't exaggerated, that the left hip jutted out and forward. So I'm going to take my thumb into the hip crease. I'm going to press it down and back and sort of wrap it over. And now I'm feeling very stable in the pelvis. So as you inhale, press into the feet, back knee. As you exhale, lift through the front of the right hip and then diagonally across. So you're doing a lift and a twist. It's not just yanking your pelvis around. And smile if you can. If you want to help opening the collarbones, turn your palm away from you. Take one more breath. As you exhale, take it down, turn it the other way. Now from here, you have a couple of choices. You can wiggle your hips. I do that and that. You can do bent leg, you can do straight leg, you can do with block or without block. I'm going to do a slow progression, and then you can rewind the video and start it however you want. Okay? So, I'm going to lean over to one side with my blocks, and then as I inhale, I'm going to bend both knees a little bit. use the exhale to draw the inner thighs into the pelvis and then lift the front low spine, taking your leg up. I call this a fire hydrant. Breathe in here. Let your standing knee track with your toes. And then when you exhale, you're going to take it in. Then I breathe when I get there because I'm going to try and straighten out my low back. Exhale. You can also, if you want to, take this a little bit more aggressively and go. Just try to get that breath squeezing out from below the navel. Try not to make it all in the chest and the throat. The other option here is once you come up is you straighten the leg. Make sure the toes point in the same direction as the crown of your head. All right? And then as you inhale, you can take the knee in, or you can just lift the left pelvic half towards the sky. Just be really careful of this. If you're going to have a dangling straight leg, make sure this leg doesn't lock, otherwise your low back is going to be super locked out of place. 5 more. Okay, last one. Take it behind your other foot. Make sure that back knee doesn't get jutted out and jammed out, locked, and then fold. Keep your right hip crease back, either manually or with your awareness. And as you exhale, turn just your torso to the left. Should feel pretty good on that standing leg. It was supporting you for so long. You can even take both hands out. The idea is to just not get the right hip to twist over with you. You can test out how straight your legs can be. Just don't jam them locked, unless for some reason you feel like being bone on bone and forward bending like that is going to serve you. Let's go to the other side now. Voila. All right, so here we go. Again, I like to do this. You don't have to. You know it's coming now. So, but I still want you to experiment with this bent leg first. Inhale, bend. Exhale, suck it in. Inhale, align the spine. And then exhale. So I really want you to consider what your motivation is if you just jumped right to a straight leg. I know now that I can do this with a straight leg because I don't feel popping, I don't feel creaking, and I don't feel any pinching in my spine. Okay? So for everyone, it's going to be different. Correct? Correct. All right, so 10. So make sure you do them in the way that serves you. Okay? It could be a combination. All right there is jamming my standing leg straight. I started to feel it in the SI area, so I bent it and it went away. Remember that you can do a lot more than you think you can if you create space in your joints. Let's do 3 more. Take it behind, all right? So pinky edges of the feet are facing. Take the hip crease back. Don't jam the back leg locked. Hello, I can see you now. The more you straighten the legs after you fold it, be careful of the sensations. If they travel into the spine proper, back off, and then come forward. Good. So it's time for sure to switch out of the legs and the butt. So I thought I had a device in here that I apparently don't have. That's okay. So let's get it a little bit into the core here. So hand support core can be tough for your wrists. Okay, so I just want you to see my hands are always spread and I don't lift the knuckles off of the floor, which is very common. So that in and of itself could be an exercise in strength, right? All right, so here we go. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to lift up to downward dog, and then I'm going to wrap my arms in, kind of draw the inner elbows forward. As I exhale, I'm going to hover my knees to the floor, but I'm not going to touch. I'll inhale them up, and then I'll exhale, going down. I'm also letting my arms bend a little bit, because I don't really want to lock my elbows out here. If you lock your elbows out, not only will you not get as much work throughout the whole body, but you might actually overstretch a little bit in the front of the body. Plus, as you come down, you may have the arm bone be more unstable in the shoulder socket. So if you have a little space in your joints, a little softness in the elbows, then you'll be more stable. My shoulder's a really good indicator for what stabilizes, because it is fairly unstable itself. But if your shoulder is different and you want to lock out your arms, I cannot stop you. All right, one more time. Good. Take the knees down. Go ahead and have your toes, I'll show you, like so. Feel free also to always put padding anywhere you need to, on the floor or even in between your seat and your heels. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit, stretch the quads a little bit. So you might already feel like, stretch. And if you don't feel, stretch, then come here. Take something behind you where you can also get in an extra stretch of the pecs and a little bit of the delts too. And then if you want to get a little bit more of a stretch, think of this as a lengthening of the spine out of the hips and not just throwing your butt up and your hips forward. So inhale, sit deeper, little arch in the low back. And when you exhale, squeeze the inner thighs, press the toenails into the floor, and then start to lengthen the low spine out of the hips. Inhale at the top and feel how just by expanding your thoracic cavity, it stretches you. It's really nice. You can stay here for a bit. When you come down though, think about trying to keep the front of your body flat with a lot of abdominal lifting, and then see if you can go lower. If you can't, you can't, no biggie. And hey, remember, if your knees hurt in this pose, you gotta get right out, okay? You can always roll up face cloths or a blanket and take it in the little crook there of your knees and try this. It does help, okay? Keeps your knees from over flexing, which is a problem that I share with hyperextending. So from here, you don't just want to throw your head back for one thing. You want to be able to swallow, and you want to be able to lift. You may even draw in a little Jalandhara Bandha here, with just a little drawing in of the chin. All right, if you're down this low, you want to like really use inner thighs, low belly, Mula Bandha, and then come up without your head really moving. You don't want to jut your head forward. You don't want to hang it back. Okie dokie. So some core on the back. Everybody loves core on the back. No, they don't. I know they don't. I do. I like core everywhere. So I'm just taking it at this angle. Take this block the thin way in between the thighs, so not at the knees and not in the crotch. I mean, if your legs are short, then I would say you can do it in the knees. Might not be so good in the crotch. What we're going to do is we're going to squeeze the block on the inner thighs. You might feel a little pop or crack, right, anywhere in the hips, or maybe even in the front of the pubic bone. That's okay. It's cool. So take the arms out in the Jesus pose and cross. Straighten the legs a little or a lot. I want you to know your body. Know that the longer the lever length here, the more that the low back wants to get involved if you don't have the deep core muscles, like the transverse and the psoas, okay, and then the lower part of the rectus abdominis. So here we go. Knees over the hips, not here, over the hips. Exhale, take your navel to the right, squeeze it to the right as your knees go to the left, and then breathe. maybe more into the chest so you can continually engage that low belly muscle, and then take it to the center. And the next time you exhale, navel to the left, knees to the right. And then exhale. Try to keep both shoulder blades pinned. I'm just going to show you straight legs. You don't have to do this. In fact, I would say that a lot of people that try it, I notice that they'll have this pitch in their low back and their face starts to strain. So remember, if you have to use your face to get through a movement, it's probably not the right movement for you. So we're going to do this 3 more times each side. One of the reasons we're using the block is because engaging the inner thighs really does help engage more muscles in the core itself, and helps save you from, again, pulling into that lumbar spine. Okay, dokie, here we go. So let's take it out, and I'm going to go this direction for you. We're going to do some arm balances on our back. So exciting. So take the right knee into the chest, left leg out. So the left leg could be, the heel could be relaxing on a block if you want your leg straight but it doesn't go on the floor, or you can keep it bent. Okay. Now from here, we're going to take the arms to the sky, high five the sky. On an exhale, take the navel to the right. Maybe twist your hips a little bit to the left. Breathe in. And then exhale, switch. And switch. And if you want to get really crazy with this, you can go and you can just keep going like that. Every time I breathe out, though, I do feel that tiny little bit of low belly engagement, little bit of pelvic floor. I'm not going crazy with it, but just do what you can. And then when you're done and you hit the left side, you just come down, take your happy baby, or maybe you're in for a little more core. So big toe mounds and then inner heels together. As you inhale, let the back of your body press into the earth, and then exhale. Then try to come down slow. And if you want to, try to work the ability to stay here or continue to go up and down. Now, I would probably prefer that your chin be into your chest. Remember to breathe. The body might be static, but the inner body must move. And then you can take it down when you're ready. A little windshield wiper action probably wouldn't feel so bad. Extending the right arm as your knees go to the left, and then drawing your right knee towards the back corner of your mat. Might feel good. And then maybe you let it drop and taking it to the other side. Extending, extending, extending. And taking it to the other side. Alright, so here's the deal. We did a little bit of everything except really the arms. So I'll definitely make another bar video for that. My classes are usually an hour long, and there's always a stretching and a shavasana at the end. So this is what you can do. You can rewind and do the whole class over, and you can turn the volume down and shut me up. Or you can stop here, be cool, do some stretches, lie down in shavasana, or you could do another video of mine, right? So whatever works for you. And if you are looking for anything in particular as a request, put it in the comments. Give me some ideas. I love ideas. It gives me things to work on and keeps my brain busy, and it also means that I'm serving my clients, my students, who are you, better, okay? So I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a wonderful rest of your day, however long that is, and I'll see you later.